took a trip to the San Bernardino Mountains today to find something that's rare in Southern California. A secluded creek with wild fish and few, sometimes no people around.
You can see that we're out here off of Fire Road, and Yo's hit a little bit of traffic, but hopefully they're not going to the exact same place as me. You don't always need four-wheel drive, but it certainly helps out here. And there's some days where you definitely do need four-wheel drive. And a couple of these spots like this right here where it probably would help. You need at least some clearance, if not four-wheel drive. And you'll see up here at the end of the trail, there's a spot where you definitely, it helps to have some clearance as well as a little bit of traction. And you can see a little further down the road that there are definitely a couple other cars here, and that's not usually what you want to see on a creek, like a small creek like this, but it just means you got to hike up that much further. There's several spots to cross the creek right here, and this particular one, because the water's up a little bit higher, you have to hop a couple spots, but you can look around and get across more easily. You'll see the destination is just where in the valley up ahead there. And there's a little more evidence that there's definitely some people here. That's all right. And then you can see we're finally up into the mountains a little bit. And I'm just breaking through some trees here to avoid the poison oak over there on the right. And it's all over around this spot. And so you always want to kind of be aware of where you're going. And in the summertime, there's also a lot of stinging nettles, so it's something else to keep in mind. Real important, you see I'm wearing a white shirt, long sleeve, with a glove, at least on one hand, to kind of push through the brush, and it's really vital anytime up here. You see I'm wearing long pants and hiking boots as well, and this is pretty typical type of climbing you got to do at most of these remote spots. And remember, the harder it is to get there, the better the fishing. I actually climbed too high on this spot, so I had to climb back down and head back up creek. And right about here is where I usually start fishing, and you can see a little fish dart by right there, which is good. There's little trout everywhere around here. You can see a bunch of gravel, a little decomposed granite everywhere, and this was actually not here last time I fished this spot, just a few months before, but we had a really big rain, and it's just amazing how much gravel pushed down the hill. This is another example. You really don't have to climb like this. You can either get your feet wet or wear waders, or just look for better spots to cross, but again, it's a little quicker to just kind of hop across and keep moving. Maybe not the brightest idea out here by myself to be hopping across rocks, but I'm keeping safety in mind to some degree. And this is one of the best feelings when you come up to a new pool after you just kind of climb a little ledge and there's a good looking pool. And there's always fish in this little creek. These are all wild fish. They're not native, but they're wild. This creek, they were actually stocked back here somewhere in something like the 50s. You see a little fish dart by right there.
I've fished this creek quite a bit, and it has both brown and rainbow trout. You seem to catch a lot more brown trout, particularly down low. It seems like the higher you go, the less brown trout there are. But the rainbow trout, like I said, they seem to bite a little bit less. I've also seen what is some kind of hybrid of the two, or possibly a brook trout. To be honest, I don't know what it is, but on certain days you will get what I'm calling a third species of trout in here.
It's a great example of a spot where a fish will hide out at the bottom of these little riffles and just sit in that calm water right at the edge of the water going by, and pick off food and larvae and stuff as it goes by. Now, as I came up to this pool, you could see about 50 fish all spread out through the pool, and and they got spooked so easily. I was actually trying to sneak up, and I climbed down very carefully to this spot. And I don't think all the fish are spooked, but they'll just kind of follow the leaders, so you're bound to catch something. This particular pool is kind of, there's no way for the fish to go up, I think, and I think after that big rain, a bunch got locked down in there. This fish was the biggest I caught of the day, and this would be kind of more of an average to smaller size for this creek usually, but I don't know if it's the time of the year or after all the rains or because of the people going by and spooking. It's a tough day fishing. They're small fish, but still fun fishing. Again, there's probably 50 fish in that little pool, just in the bubbles there hiding out. So this is a good example of what you'll be doing a lot of the time, casting as far as you can, just kind of reeling through those little pools. And this is another example of what you do. Get stuck in the rocks a lot, and you don't want to lose your tackle, so you're going to be climbing around, but it's all good. I'm using a short 5-foot rod, with one thing for moving around within the sticks, but also you really want to have a lot of accuracy, and I found that little 5-footer in this tight spot is really what you need. And this is a great pool. It's actually really filled up with gravel. Usually it's a little deeper, but there's a deep pocket right there on the right side where the fish are definitely kind of piled up. And I'm trying to sneak around, but it's kind of far enough back to where they probably won't see me. All that piled up granite or gravel or whatever it is really makes it like quicksand. You actually see in a little bit that I'm kind of dancing everywhere because there's spots where it just gets really soupy. And there you go. You see I'm reeling in really fast because with the barbless hook, you're really apt to lose a fish, and it's just a little guy, but and apparently he's hooked. Not really much else wanted to bite. There's definitely fish everywhere. They're just not biting today. Probably spooked or spawning or not hungry. You can see a couple fish holding right up there off to the left side and kind of sitting off to the side of that little current. So I figure I'll toss a spinner up there with all the barbs pushed down. And right now I'm rolling it right by them, and they're not even thinking twice about it. And that's been the case all day. It's definitely been a tough day, but normally this spot, maybe in the summertime more so, or just after the rain, but usually fish are really apt to take in just about anything. It's been a good day though, and fish aren't exactly too big today, so I think I'm gonna wrap it up and head home. It's always good to leave kind of early so you have plenty of time to get back and you're not driving back in the dark. It's also nice to get home at a decent hour. So I head back the way I came and maybe stop and get some dinner on the way home and call it a day. Another good day fishing.